Hello everyone, this is Jimmy and welcome to episode 13 of FTB Infinity Evolved Skyblock mode. Lucky number 13, and we haven't exploded yet. Although I'm looking through my reactors and I noticed this one is missing a few fuel rods. I suspect that's because we're just out of fuel rods. That is true, and I suspect that is probably because we ran out of iron plates to make them with. Let's go confirm that really quick. Let's see. Yep, we have not enough iron plates to make more fuel rods, so the system has stopped trying. Alright then, let's tackle that problem next. So this is actually part of a larger problem, and that is that I actually don't have automated ore processing yet. I have automated sifting, which produces a whole lot of ore, but my ore is just sitting here as ore. It's, not being turned into ingots. So, let's rewind a bit, and before we go tackling plates, let's tackle ores. So I have a whole lot of ore, and I need to process it into, well, ingots of some description. In fact, almost all ore types I'm voiding right now, and that's suboptimal. Why throw away perfectly good ores? So there's a couple ways to process this stuff. Let's take a look. You can smelt it for one, redstone furnace it for one. That's obviously, don't bother. I'm not going to bother hammering the sand down into dust. The extra yield there is just not worth the extra work. Okay, so Eulerium is special. Eulerium can only be smelted. For some reason, it does not have the ore doubling recipe. So we're going to skip Eulerium and look at ores that actually do have ore doubling recipes. Let's see, so we could use the thermal pulverizer for 2 plus a small byproduct. Is that really the only option? Alright then, I guess that's our, or we could use a smeltery, but I don't think that's a reasonable option, right? So I guess we have to use the thermal pulverizer to turn it into 2 and a byproduct, and then we can just smelt these resulting items. Now, as for the last smelting step, there's a near infinite number of furnaces to use. The industrial craft furnace is by far the fastest one once you put speed upgrades in it, overclocker upgrades, but it's also by far the most energy hungry, so I think redstone furnaces will be perfectly sufficient. Now, given that we have a massive backlog of ores to go through, why don't we set up a bank of pulverizers and redstone furnaces to process them? And I'll set it up over here so that we can store our ingots into our drawer system here. The first step in the process is to consolidate the ores that we want to process into one place. So I'm consolidating all the ores into that chest by using a couple active supplier modules. Each resource type, like the gravels, the sands, and the dusts, has 10 different types of ore, except that Eulerium does not need to be crushed, so there's 9, which is convenient because each one of these holds 9 item types. So I'm telling it the system to put 1 stack of each ore in here, which we see is here. Then we just have to crush it. Now the last supplier here, it's empty for now, but I'll use it later once we start processing stuff like crushed netherrack and crushed endstone, which will give us, a few more resources like cobalt, ardite, draconium. I'm sure there's more that I'm forgetting, but we have room for up to 9 more resources to be processed in this processing line if necessary. So now that we have our ores, we just have to, step 1, crush it in a pulverizer. To move the items around, I'm going to use the Thermodynamics Ducts. However, there's one thing to keep in mind, and that is that the ducts will happily connect to your logistics pipe network, and if you allow it to do so, and say you set round robin extract on your servo, when you turn it off, it'll happily extract items into your logistics pipes. And God knows where those items are going. Any valid inventory that will accept those items, it tries to send it to. So I'm going to have to find those at some point. But you can disconnect it by just right-clicking it with a wrench or putting a pipe plug on the logistics pipe side. Anyways, now that it's disconnected, I can turn it off. It will send the various ores to the machines that process it. When it's done, I'm consolidating dusts in another chest because now that we have, let's see, dusts here, so I can use a unrouted pipe, disconnect that, please don't connect, and another chassis here. I can directly feed the Eulerium into this stage where it will be processed, because the Eulerium does not need to be crushed, right? We can just directly smelt it. So, where is my active provider? Active supplier. Ah, I still get those two words mixed up. Alright, and then I just have to configure it to supply all the various Eulerium types. So, Eulerium gravel, sand. I didn't really organize my drawers such that, like, you know, the same ore takes up the same spot on each set of drawers. That would have been a very smart thing to do. Turns out I'm not a very smart person. Anyways, configure those into here. Partial mode will be fine. Partial just tells it to, you know, if it's missing as even just one item, to send it over, whereas each of the bulk modes says, you know, at less than 50% send items, or at less than 100% send items. Cool, so I can just put these in here, and then next step is to redstone furnace it all. Once the dusts are done cooking, we are left with ingots. So I'll just set up a number of compacting drawers to hold all of our completed products. So I guess for now there will be 9 types, because there's 10, right? 9 plus Eulerium. But I'm gonna set up a few more than that in terms of drawers, just so that there's room for growth. And of course, I can't forget to actually put the upgrades into these machines. They're not very fast without them. They are quite fast with them. How do I can't use the mouse wheel to put them in one by one, but if I shift click, I get all of them. So of course, it's going to be that difficult. They also consume a fair amount of energy when fully upgraded, so it's a good thing we built our nuclear reactors. And I think each pulverizer maxes out at 800, and each redstone furnace maxes out at, I suspect it's half of that, 400? Well, let's double check. Yeah, so in total, this is 2400 plus 1200, or 3600 RF a tick when running at full blast. That's 900 EU a tick, or about the output of 2 reactors. A little bit over the output of 2 reactors. While we're going through our backlog, we'll be running this at 100% uptime, although I'm pretty sure that it processes ores faster than our ore generation system produces them. So once we're through the backlog, you know, this will slow down considerably. Although now that there are upgrades running, there's a lot of stuff flowing through the pipes. Pretty neat. One thing you have to be a little careful about when setting up your drawers is what type of, like, what mod provides the materials that actually go into here. So for the vanilla materials, it doesn't really matter, because there's only one, you know, there's only vanilla iron. But even for iron, you have to be a little careful, because there is no vanilla iron nugget, right? So for iron nuggets, right now, all my recipes are set to use Thaumcraft iron nuggets, but if I just put an iron ingot in here, the default type of iron nugget I get is Tinker's Construct. So I can either change my recipes over to use this, or probably the easier solution is to unlock the drawer, get this out, relock it, and prime it with a piece of Thaumcraft iron nugget, which now, any iron I put in here automatically, if I withdraw it as iron nuggets, is Thaumcraft iron. For most of the other materials, say copper here, I want I want thermal copper for all slots. So if I just put thermal copper in here, I think that works. That's thermal copper. This is thermal copper, and this is thermal copper. Perfect. This way, we are, you know, in some ways, we are unifying our ores through the drawer system. So even if I process more ores later through, like, you know, let's grab some of my copper ore or copper ingots that I process in the smeltery, right? If you process copper in the smeltery, you get Tinker's Construct copper. But, wrong end of pouch. If I take this, I can directly insert this into this drawer, and it will get converted over into Tinker's, or into thermal copper. So likewise, for each material, I'm just going to make sure that it's automatically, you know, all 3 types are thermal as much as possible. While setting up my drawers, I discovered that aluminum, too, cannot be processed through the pulverizer. So I believe there is a way to double aluminum here. If you process it in the smeltery, you do get 2 aluminum ingots. I honestly, there's not enough uses for aluminum for me to want to set up a dedicated smeltery just for processing it. So I'm just going to chuck it directly into the dust chest and have it go through the redstone furnace, just like we're doing with the Eulerium. Which makes me wonder, does Eulerium also have a melting recipe? No, it does not appear to. It looks like your only option with Eulerium is for 1x yield. Also, there don't appear to be aluminum blocks, just ingots and nuggets. Oh well. The drawers are all configured, all that's left is to put upgrades in them. So in an ideal world, I would actually not want to put void upgrades in these drawers. I would like that if these drawers filled up, that the processing for each individual ore would just stop. However, configuring that's a lot harder, because then you need to set thresholds for each resource type, logic on whether or not to supply ores. If I just don't put void upgrades in these, say like the aluminum drawer will be one of the first to fill up, right? Because there's no block form, but that'll then eventually stuff this chest with aluminum, which will cause all the other resources to stop producing, which is obviously not good. I don't want the fact that aluminum is stuffed to cause me to stop producing, iron or gold. So the easiest solution is just avoid them all. I'm just going to put a bunch of emerald upgrades on them as well, so that, by the time, oopsies, I need voids. But by the time they start actually voiding items, I just won't care anymore. Like, yeah, sure, you can start voiding iron once you have, I don't know how many stacks these max out at. 832 apparently. Once you have 832 stacks of iron blocks, I don't really care if I void the 833rd stack of iron blocks. I've left the system running for a little while now, and I've noticed that the buffer chest here between the pulverizers and the furnaces is starting to fill up pretty quickly, actually. So I probably have to add a few more furnaces. I think it's because the furnace is less than twice as fast as the pulverizer to begin with. And then we can add on the fact that the pulverizer, produces more than 2 items per operation, right? Like pulverizing copper here produces 2.1 items per operation. Whereas, the redstone furnace obviously only consumes 1 item per operation. And lastly, I'm directly injecting some dusts into the redstone furnaces and thus bypassing the pulverizer altogether. So we probably need something like for every 3 pulverizers, we need, I don't know, 4 to 5 redstone furnaces. Unfortunately, I'm out of machine frames. Like, I don't even have basic machine frames crafted right now, so I can't make any more. But I guess that means I should start the next batch of machine frames. In the spirit of batch crafting, then, let's make something along the lines of... There's a stack-ish of machine frames in here. I don't think there's enough dense steel plates, but it'll make a lot of basic frames. I'll make a handful of Resident 2. However, I'm out of ender pearls for that. So I think maybe the next thing we do is set up a enderman farm. Now, I can spawn enderman with the ender owl powered spawner. I just have to, capture 1 enderman out of our basic farm and use it to spawn them. However, the power spawner uses a lot of energy, so I want to squeeze as many ender pearls out of each enderman as possible. And I have a pretty clever way to do it. Before we can get to mob spawning, though, I still need to actually finish the automation of plates. That's kind of why I did the ore processing, huh? So I need another metal bender for this. Thanks to auto crafting, that's not too bad to make. And I'll need a, basically I'll set it up just like I did this first one here, right? But this one's doing in extruding mode. I'll do the same thing, except this new metal bender will be in whatever ending mode, rolling mode. Up until this point, I've really mostly used iron plates. Well, plates in general have come from my metal press. The, kind of see it there right in the background. The multi-block version. Which mostly produces industrial or immersive engineering plates. However, now that we have overclocker upgrades, I think the metal former is at least as fast. And once we get more overclockers, like once I have more power, I can put, 8 or even more overclockers into each machine. Moving forward, basically the metal former will be faster plate making. So I'm going to start standardizing all my plates on industrial craft plates, because that's what the metal former makes. So I'll put that crafting upgrade in there. And now if I need iron plate, I can just request, give me a stack of these, right? And it'll craft the other 62 as soon as the iron gets here. There we go. And then it automatically withdraws the product. So I have to go through all of my recipes that use iron plates and convert them to use the industrial craft version. Like here. Whoa. What's happening here? I went through and switched all the recipes that use plates over to the industrial craft version. Thankfully, it was only iron plates. For some reason, like the copper plates and all the other plates that are produced by this machine are the industrial craft version by default. I don't know if that's because maybe there just aren't other types of plates in the mod. Oh, looks like you're done working. So why did you stop? Oh, you're out of steel plates. Okay, I'll make more steel plates for you later. But yeah, I guess. Oh, there's steel plates from immersive engineering too. But I guess immersive engineering just doesn't have a lot of plate variety in it. Mind me. Anyways, there's one thing I could have done was just use fuzzy crafting tables, which you can set to be, like use ore dictionary plates. However, there is no fuzzy equivalent of the crafting pipe. So while the table can, doesn't care about what plate you give it, the pipe still cares when looking for plates to pull out of your storage system or for chain crafting. So that doesn't really fix the problem to use fuzzy crafting tables. In any event, though, this is fixed now, and hopefully that'll be the last time we have to update something like that. I've largely tried to keep that in mind when choosing my recipes. Like that's why, I'm standardizing all my ingots right now, so that even if later we switch the way that we make ingots, as long as we insert them into these drawers before we withdraw them, we can forever use the thermal variant of ingots going forward. So I never have to worry about, well, what if we start using industrial craft to process ores? We can just take in fact, if I look at, I think, tin right now, I have a lot of tin from other sources, right? I have 400 Tinker's Construct tin, and I'm sure I have some industrial craft tin somewhere. Maybe not tin, silver. Yeah, I have like 400 industrial craft silver. So if I just in the future, if we use an industrial craft furnace instead of redstone furnaces because they're crazy fast, they will output industrial craft ingots. So then we just have to make sure to run those ingots like this through these drawers, just clicking them in there, and voila, they become this version. Super convenient. The other type of plate that's consumed in the fuel making, nuclear fuel making process are copper plates. So copper ore or copper ingot becomes copper plate. Put you in here, and now we can auto-craft those as well. Back to mob spawning once again. In order to spawn mobs, we have to make the powered spawner. I know. I'm a genius. You didn't think of this one. But crafting the powered spawner requires vibrant crystals, which requires a little bit of vibrant alloy, which unfortunately does actually require a alloy smelter to make. The energetic alloy in here requires the alloy smelter. So let's start with Ender Isle's alloy smelter. One of the things that goes into the alloy smelter is the induction furnace, which is actually a pretty efficient furnace, but I don't think we're going to end up using them a whole bunch. They are nice though. Maybe at some point, you know what? How about when I make this induction furnace, we'll use it for a bit, compare its speed to the actual redstone furnace, and see which one's faster. So first of all, though, we have to make electric furnaces, which require these circuits, which I am waiting for crafting any day now. Come on, one more. There we go. All right, then I can make an induction furnace. Cool, let's try this out. The induction furnace has a heat value, which starts at 0%. It builds up if you give it a redstone signal. Maybe. Oh, it builds up very slowly. It also builds up while you have items inside. As you can see, while the heat is low, it cooks super slow. I think one limitation of the induction furnace actually is that it doesn't accept overclockers too. Let's see, do these go in here? Yeah, they don't. But as the heat goes up, it gets, it starts smelting faster, and it does 2 items per operation. So to keep the heat up, there's a small maintenance cost. It's super low, like 1 EU a tick, I believe. While it's running, it draws a bit more power. But I'll I'll leave this here for a little bit. We'll see how fast it is, I guess, once the heat actually gets up to 100%. The fact that it doesn't take overclockers, though, kind of dooms it to never be super fast. While that heats up, I made a second induction furnace for crafting purposes. And once our basic capacitor gets here, we can make an alloy smelter. Alright, so the alloy smelter, I mean, you can guess what it does, right? It smelts alloys. Mind-blowing, I know. I'll put this, let's see, I need somewhere that has a power supply upgrade. I guess that one doesn't. Oh well, I'll just add it. So, without a capacitor, it is painfully slow, but you need to start it off without a capacitor so you can, make a capacitor. So first it's glowstone, or gold, redstone, and glowstone. Put it together to make, I get 66 in the last one. Put it together to make energetic alloy. Yep, this is slower than, I think it's slower than induction, or it's slower than industrial craft machines. All right, I'm just gonna leave this here. Once we get our first couple ingots, we can make this process faster. Small batch of energetic alloy is done, so with this, we can probably make a double layer capacitor. Very good. The recipe for this, yeah, it's not that bad. It's 2 energetic. Basically, the only difference from the regular recipe is uses a very simple electron tube because all this stuff comes from sifting dust. So once I get this capacitor, in fact, let's even order a few more. Can I just give me like 2 more? There we go. All right, so it's going to take it a little bit of time to craft, but 1 is done. I'll take this first one and put it into our alloy smelter to make it a bit less painfully slow. It's 20 RF a tick without a capacitor, so the capacitor triples the speed. I don't think Ender-IO machines lose efficiency as you speed them up, so triple the energy consumption is simply triple the speed. There's a trick to making vibrant alloy faster too. Do it in the induction smelter. In fact, this is only a hardened induction smelter, and it's probably as fast as the fastest alloy smelter ever is. The top tier capacitor, though, the octadic capacitors, at least I think this is the highest tier one in this pack. Yeah, the octadic capacitor uses Ender electron tubes, so Eyes of Ender are easy, but Endstone is a little tricky to make right now. We have a couple options. We can jam, basically stuff an Ender Pearl into sandstone, pour some of it over obsidian, or I think the easiest way, add glowstone to a lava barrel. So I'm going to set up something for that. Maybe it's time we set up a large lava farm. Yeah, let's do that. So I'm going to make a small batch of, or maybe even a large batch of this, what do you call this stuff? Blazing pyrotheum, and let's set up a lava farm. As I've been crafting stuff, our induction furnace has come up to full heat. So at full speed, this is probably like as fast as, at least twice as fast as a redstone furnace, maybe 3 times as fast. Actually pretty good. I'll probably actually just leave this here. At some point we can use it, I'll put like item transportation on it, and we can use it in place of a redstone furnace for, recipes that where I don't care that it gives me the industrial craft version of the output. But yeah, it's not half bad. To reduce the amount of blazing pyrotheum I need, I'm going to actually be using... What? I accidentally threw all my crucibles away. But I'm going to be putting the crucibles on both the flowing blocks as well as the source blocks. It melts faster on source blocks than flowing. I think source is, 7x? So flowing would be like 5x or something. That's not a big deal. Well, having accidentally thrown all of my crucibles away, let's request another stack of them. They're super cheap to make. I just have to actually, request the unfired version and then put them through the fire. We'll use the induction smelter again. This is comfortably more crucibles than we need right now, but we'll find a way to put them to use. Apparently, to get maximum smelting speed, you do need items to be in both slots, which is a little annoying. Here's the almost fully set up lava generator. So, really quite simple. We have a cobblestone generator. It's this extra utilities cobblestone generator. This is cobblestone. that feeds into a buffer chest, which feeds into a transfer node here, which distributes cobble to all of these crucibles. Now, that one might need a few speed upgrades. Actually, I should have speed upgrades in here already. Yeah. So let's put a few in here, maybe 8. There we go. So that distributes cobblestone to all of these crucibles, and then we just need to come up with a system to extract the lava out of it. So I'm going to use another set of transfer nodes. I know it's possible to make it so that these don't connect, but like with the wrench. But I think if I just run, if I just move my transfer pipes around a little bit, I could just make them never actually adjacent to each other, which eliminates the need to wrench stuff. There we go, like so. Now, one disadvantage of transfer nodes here is that they actually take up the full block. You can't put 2 transfer nodes in one block space anymore. Like you can't, well, in this version, you can't do it. So I guess you can't do it yet. You can't do it anymore. So we have to, I guess that's not actually a problem. Just on this side, we put transfer nodes down the line. I'll put it facing that way. Like so. And then we do the same here. And on the last row as well. One cool thing about transfer nodes is that they actually have a significant internal buffer. They hold like 8 buckets each. So just the transfer nodes can kind of serve as the internal buffer for our entire lava system. We don't need a separate buffer. Although maybe it's a good idea to have a separate buffer anyways. Yeah, I talked myself into it. Alright, so I wonder, are there bigger and easier tanks to make than the resident portable tank? I'm sure there is, but I can't be bothered to make it at this time. So instead we'll just store it in this tank. Transfer pipes. So connect that, this, and this. And they should fill up with lava. Very good. So each of these, they search pretty slowly, but we're going to be bottlenecked by the melting speed way more than we are the transfer speed of these transfer nodes, so I'm not worried about that. Alright, and then I just have to put that fluid into an ender tank, and for this I'll use the triple red ender tank, because you guessed it, lava is red. Oh my god, they take forever to mine. Alright, set that there, and set you to auto output. Alright, so now if I need lava anywhere, I can just drop a triple red ender tank to have it. It's not an infinite amount of lava, but it is a pretty large amount of lava, so why are you failing to find the tank? To help the searching out, if you right-click a block like this, and you see how it has like dotted lines like that, it makes it act kind of like a diode. These transfer nodes are allowed to search past it going this way, but these transfer nodes are once they reach this block will not continue to search that way for sources. So that helps. I think what happens is these transfer nodes sometimes get lost, like searching up and down this row, and they never end up actually finding the tank. But by telling it, hey, never look this way, just keep going here, you can get it to search faster. Now, if I do the same here on this side, I can make it disconnect, like so. But I don't want it disconnected. I want it connected, like that. The last step to turn lava into endstone is to dump some glowstone into it. So, now that I'm looking at this, this probably isn't the best way to set it up, but whatever. Ender tank provides lava to the barrel. Glowstone is provided via the transfer node here. Is painfully slow, and I should have put it above it and just used a hopper, which would have been much faster. But the final result is withdrawn by a hopper. I guess the limit is kind of how fast we're transporting lava now. So, you know what? This is plenty fast. We're going to run out of lava before not all too long. So I'm just batch crafting it by, providing it with however many stacks of glowstone at a time. So we're going to need a lot of endstone later, because endstone is the source for draconium. You have to take it and then crush it. In a pulverizer will do. And then you sieve it for draconium and this platinum's pretty useless because you can get it from lifting anything, but mostly draconium. Anyways, what I need it right now for though is to make those circuit thingies. By circuit thingies, I mean electron tubes. So there we go. We don't need a tremendous number of these, but right now I'm only making 8 because that uses just about every last ender pearl I have left. I have that one ender pearl, and I think I had one more. Yeah, I have 2 ender pearls remaining. So we'll make more of these later. But now with those, we should be able to make the top tier capacitor. 1 octadic capacitor, please. Nope, vibrant alloys. Let's try that again. 1 octadic capacitor, please. Aha, and it'd just be a matter of sending items to the crafter. There we go. Now we can use this to make our alloy smelter even faster. It's still not going to be fast, it's just going to be less slow, but it is done with that job now. So with no capacitor, it's 20. With a base or with a double layer, it's 60. And with an octadic, it's 100. It's 5 times as fast as not having a capacitor. At last, I think it's time we put together the powered spawner. So let's just I guess that's that. Now, initially, your powered spawner is empty. It doesn't have a mob in it. So you also need a broken spawner, and normally you have to get these by, well, literally breaking spawners. But since this is a skyblock, we can craft them. So make a broken spawner. Sure, I'll make 2. And then you need to capture a soul vial as well. A soul vial. Does this have to be fused quartz? I guess it does. New improved alloy smelter. Fuse the quartz for me. It's still not fast. Alright, but you only need 3 pieces of this, so I'm not going to wait for it all. Make me a soul vial. Now I need to get a enderman in here, so the easiest way to do that is probably to just chill at the mob farm until an enderman spawns in it. Wait, you're in here! Did I get it? Aha! And then I should get one before it died. Alright, so that was fast. Now we just have to combine the 2 in an anvil with some experience. Oh no, we need a soul binder. Have I made a soul binder yet? I don't think so. Drat. The soul binder requires an enderman head, and there's no crafting recipe for it. You just have to get an enderman to drop their head, and I think they only drop on player kills because we haven't gotten any yet. So yeah, no soul binder for us now. Then we have to go switch our mob farm up to drop player killed items. But I think we're out of time for today, so that'll be where we start tomorrow and move on to making the actual spawner and whatever follows from there. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.